Yes, Hunter here, Rect America, and I'm delighted to have Dr. Flo with me. We're having a very wonderful conversation here. So we were saying, Dr. Flo, where were we?
Hey, Hunter. Hi, Dr.
Hey.
Flo here. Really nice to be with you. And what we were saying is you were helping me understand about story and the heart and the mind and the soul. Um, you said we're not just talking about the noise in our head. When we talk about story, we're not just talking about the noise in our head intellectually. We're talking about our heart and soul and the collective.
Yeah, so we're talking about the collective. Um, and well, and I was where I was going is that the story, the noise in our head uh, is the surface story.
The noise in our head is a surface story.
That's the surface story. But when we dwell in the land of step 6 and 7, and we bring these characters to life, and we give them names and let them speak, and we bring them forward. That's a different. That's at a different level. And that's you see. So you see why I said that's the noise I had is the surface. Do you see why I made that?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
That's
I
yeah.
appreciate the distinction of the different types of stories.
Okay, right. And I was saying I had some departure with uh, internal family systems because
Mm,
I think it stays at that level at least to and I'm looking for you to add insight there. I told you I
mm.
that was my cursory exploration of it is and I'll let you respond. Am I giving it short shrift? Am I not getting the depth that it goes to? What do you think?
Yes,
I am.
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I
She
did
said
not
yes.
watch. Yes.
She said, yeah, yeah.
I didn't watch the clip that you watched,
Okay,
and I
okay,
wish I had because I think that would have helped me understand where you're coming from with it.
okay,
But I think of all the theories I know,
okay,
that one will be getting at the mind, the heart, and the soul.
okay. All right, all right. Then I need to. Um, I stand corrected. I'll go do some more research on that. Um, say more. Why do you say that?
Um,
Let me ask a question more. Based on what you're reading to date, what do you see different from that system, that theory, that discipline, than how do you see it different than what you understand we're about with Rect America, the work we're doing? How do you see it? What do you see as different, or do you see any difference?
I think it's I think it's really similar. And I
Wow.
left my book in the other room.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
You want to go get it?
Let me get it. I'll be right back.
While Dr. Flo is away for a moment, we'll take a pause that refreshes and uh, um, uh, do a commercial here. If you're listening for a Rec America audience, please go on over to movietheworld.us and look at the collaborative work we're doing there, the cooperative we have with the contractors are working with us and do some business with us. That's how we keep the lights on and pay some bills. Okay, so thank you very much. Did a little commercial while you were gone.
I heard it and I liked it.
Okay, all right. All right.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I'll just read you the first paragraph of this
Sure.
book. Internal family systems therapy is one of the fastest growing approaches to psychotherapy. It has developed over the past 20 years into a way of understanding and treating human problems that is empowering, effective, and non pathologizing. Internal family systems involves helping people heal by listening inside themselves in a new way to different, quote, parts, feelings, or thoughts, and in the process, unburdening themselves of extreme beliefs, emotions, sensations, and urges that constrain their lives. As they unburden, people have more access to self, self being, in this sense, capitalized. our most precious human resource, and are better able to lead their lives from that centered, confident, compassionate place. And
Read the last couple sentences again. I want to hear that
sure
again.
thing. Internal family systems involves helping people heal by listening inside themselves in a new way to different, quote, parts, feelings, or thoughts, and in the process, unburdening themselves of extreme beliefs, emotions, sensations, and urges that constrain their lives. As they unburden, people have more access to self, capitalized, our most precious human resource, and are better able to lead their lives from that centered, confident, compassionate place. And that's from the book You Are the One You've Been Waiting For by
Mhm,
Richard Schwartz.
mhm. Okay.
This doesn't even capture what it is I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. So tell me what you're trying to tell me. This.
It's just that this is my cursory way of the I am not terribly good at describing theories off the cuff. But the self, that the capital self, is the divinity in us all.
Mhm,
That's what he's meaning by that. And that way of describing it is the in my opinion, that's the written for scientific audiences version. But when he talks about in his other book that I've listened to parts of, that it's called The Sum is Greater Than the Parts. Let's see. It's
mhm,
another book that I have on audio, and I was listening to it in an attempt to get at flow. Greater than the sum of our parts. And in that book, he talks about how this isn't a psychotherapy for him, it's a spiritual path.
mhm,
So there's more. It's like taking, let's see, I actually had pulled up some worksheets here. There were worksheets on internal family systems. So there's just different ways of doing it.
mhm,
And what happens is, okay, the internal family systems model is both an accurate map of the personality system. It's a compassionate, inclusive, spiritual, powerfully healing, and deeply respectful of our inner life. Basic assumptions. Multiplicity of the mind. The mind consists of a number of subpersonalities or parts. You'll notice this when, for example, a friend asks you to an event and you respond with, well, a part of me wants to go, but a part of me doesn't. We speak for our parts all the time. We just often don't notice it. As we develop, parts form a system of interactions among themselves, just like a family. Some parts like each other and some parts don't, but they all have your best interest at heart from their own perspective. If parts are in difficult positions that they don't like, feeling overworked or not feeling good about themselves, when we pay attention to them and help the system reorganize, they can change rapidly. Everybody has a quote, self, capitalized. It has the qualities that can and should lead the internal system. There are no, quote, bad parts, and the goal of working with the system is not to eliminate parts, but instead to help them take on the roles they would like. When your internal system changes, then the external system changes, and vice versa. For example, if an angry protector part always responds to somebody asking you to do something, and you pay attention to the protector and get permission to help out the part it is protecting, which may be feeling controlled by the other person, for example, then the next time they ask you to do something, you will find yourself responding differently. The angry protector no longer needs to take the lead, as the part feeling, quote, controlled is no longer feeling burdened. By paying attention to your system, you can feel more balanced and easy by recognizing your parts, at the same time sharing your capital letter self, courage, creativity, clarity, compassion with them. Guide parts to release burdens slash difficult experiences and transform into their preferred roles in the system. Improve the quality of your relationships as you bring more self to them. Self is the seat of consciousness of who we are and has the qualities of a natural leader. It is the place from which we can watch, experience, and be with the parts and with other people in an easy and relaxed way. When we recognize and come from ourself, we have the qualities of calmness, curiosity, connectedness, confidence, creativity, courage, and clarity. When you consider people you admire and feel supported by, they probably show a lot of self energy in their relationships with you. Okay, so that's there's more, but that's what I got so far.
So you said that this was potentially helping you deal with some of your parts. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And so where are you having, as a result of this, where you flow with your parts and giving voice to your parts? What's going on with you around that? Can you share that?
Sure. I think that it's at the very like step one of that, in that as I learn more about this, I am able to conceptualize in a map in my head the the ideas we've been passing around, and the idea of protectors and exiles. So exiles being the the parts of self that are not allowed to be seen by anyone. The protectors keep those exile parts protected. It's like the exiles are the inner child, the parts that are ashamed and wounded, and the protector parts are the coping strategies. So they're closer to the character defaults, like the defects. The so I guess I'm trying to map
Can
internal
I?
fam. Yeah, I know. Okay,
No,
sure.
no. Of course, can I hold you there? One last one question
Uh huh.
on that point. Character defects. You went
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We bring that language from recovery work.
Yeah.
But if I understand this, that there's no such thing as that, right? If it's not called it. That's part of the problem. Calling that defect
Uh huh.
is a sense making a judgment
Yes.
that this does not want you to make about those
Absolutely.
parts, and
Yes.
that's right. And you know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's part of my problem with
Yes.
right, because that's why I said, in dwelling in the land of 6 and 7, which
Mm.
this is, we're like, we ain't calling that no defect.
Right.
These are parts. I mean, and we're trying to
Yes.
do it, but that's why we got to get out of this business about seeing that as a defect and be able to deal with it. That's what that and that's why I said we're that's the difference. That's why I said
Yes.
we're turning.
Yes. No, I think you might. I guess my desire is to influence you to allow me to take this IFS and run with it with you,
I absolutely.
because I think that although you may be hesitant because it's therapy and mind, it's not like I don't like mind.
Okay.
Hunter. I hate, like, the reason that I don't follow the traditional path in therapy
Okay.
is because that can't be all there is.
Right.
No,
Right.
it makes me sick. So and I don't want to be pathologized. I want I want yes, my character is better for having been broken. It is. The defects, it's not a defect. At least it's not, I'm not defective. I had to use these solutions. These are parts of me that I need. They're helpful. They helped me. They still do. They still can.
Yeah. I'm glad you. So first of all, know that I am with you taking this and running with it, helping me. So that's the page we're on. We're there. We're there. Okay. All right. Um, and before we go further, though, I want to give you a chance to, if you have just the flow here, no pun intended. But do you want to say more about personally
Ah,
having read the, just
ah.
anything personal that you want to
Okay.
share about
Yes,
how, yeah.
I do. Thank you for
I
that.
want to give you, yeah, I want to
Okay.
give
Thank you for that. I every time I open the book or listen to the audiobook of these internal family systems and I start to try to go towards myself, there is a pushback. And I, so there's a part of me that is so protecting that it's, it doesn't want me to look. It doesn't want me to look at myself. So I don't know what that part is yet. It's definitely a protector. It is not Dr. Flo. It doesn't have a name yet, but it does not want to focus on me. It wants to focus on everybody else. It wants to help everybody else in order to protect myself.
Mm.
In order to keep my exiles from being vulnerable. So I am wanting to go on the journey of calming that protector, finding a way to soothe that protector in order to get into, in order to allow my full self to show up, all the various parts of me. And apparently it's much more defended than I thought. So I think that by using this system, using this with you, I think that as what will help me is to help you first. That's generally been my tendency. That's been my pattern. I think that's why Dr. Flo. That's why Dr. Flo, you do what I do.
I'm with you. Just a question for you. Or let's stay with that question. Surrender. Surrender. You used the term a minute ago. Um, vulnerability, and around what we're talking about, the way it occurs to me is that surrender and vulnerability are flip sides of the same coin.
Say more about that, please. Like, are they
Well,
flip sides or are they synonyms?
good question. I have to work on that. Maybe, but certainly they're hanging out there together.
Yeah, yeah, they're together.
And they're together. And so again, staying in this land, the land, and that's why I made a distinction earlier. I want to stay with it. I believe in the metaphor between the world in our head
Mm-hmm.
and the land of 6 and 7.
Mm.
Like a territory.
Mm.
We're in this land. So there's this universe, or there's this world, and then there's this land of 6 and 7.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and really, the land of 6 and 7 is we've given it the name Rect America. That's the land of 6 and 7. And hanging out in this land requires surrender and radical vulnerability. You gotta, you gotta deal with ugly facts and truths and get naked and talk about shit and
right.
and not sugarcoat it and nor see it as something pathological. That's why I was like when you use that term. See, that's what's that pathologizing it by calling it defect. It makes us not want to hang out there. We can't. Like we want to get out of here. Let's not spend too much time here. And staying there requires radical vulnerability.
Yes.
Hanging out here now, and it goes to what we're talking about is in the rooms of recovery, we talk about, being in here when the addict is outside in the parking lot doing push-ups. So we establish that there's somebody else in this, in this story that does not sit in this room talking right now. It's like, so everybody here is all mild-mannered and behaved and calm. I want to talk to that person that's outside.
I get you.
I want to hear from that person.
Yeah.
Let's see what they got to say about this shit.
Yes.
And it might, so we talk around it, but again, because I think because it's pathologized and we see it as defective, we give it short shrift. We don't really want to, in fact, we want to turn down the volume on. I go back to that. We want to turn down that volume, and I'm not knocking it. I mean, we want to turn down the volume. We want to find serenity. We want to find peace. And the host, serenity prayer, and that's wonderful. But when do we get to turn up the heat?
I
don't want to, and besides, when we're drunk, that means because that's then it's kind of like we talk about these things like two things. One, we like the people say about when you're drunk, you're really being honest. The shit you say when you're drunk, that's how you really feel.
I used to say that all the time.
Right. It takes that to get you to feel liberated to say how you really feel. Right. Now you can just say what's really on your mind.
That is so true.
Okay. All right. Now, but the other I heard actually someone shared in the room yesterday, and someone talked about being raised in an alcoholic home, their father being an alcoholic and a raging alcoholic, and as a child, how much they lived in fear. And it occurred to me as I listened, that was my story. And I for the first time, I thought about how much I lived in fear and how that must have traumatized me. But I didn't realize, I didn't realize the effect that had on me, that I had to live in fear. And so I heard somebody say it out loud. I'm like, damn, I used to do that. I wonder how that shit is, it's just,
absolutely.
I hadn't thought about it. I was like, damn,
wow,
what did that do to me? It's like, because like I said, when I heard somebody say it out loud.
Wow,
I did that shit too. I wonder how that fucked me up.
Wow, nice.
But I didn't. Like I said, I didn't even. And I just thought about that for a moment. I'm like, damn. How did what did that do to you?
Absolutely, that's so cool.
So these are the things that, in turning down the volume, we give short shrift to. We don't spend enough time, in being vulnerable around this.
Yes.
And yet these it's funny because as I get to know people in the rooms, when we stop, when we stop talking, when if the meeting's over, you just kind of talk to people, I see these characters, and I'm wondering, do you realize, I heard, I was listening to someone tell the story, and I said to the guy after listening to the story, I said, you need to have a show. You don't realize, he's just telling, but he drops into different voices. I mean,
Mm.
as he's talking, I mean, takes on a whole different, I'm like, you need a show, and not realizing that he just telling a story, but not realizing that you have some characters
Yes.
that you can, that you can just go into these modes. And he said, well, I was just kind of kidding. I said, no, that's, that's, because I can talk to my side after the meeting and spend a few minutes talking to him, and he'll be dying laughing. I'm like, you have a character.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize that that's not, again, that may just be how you've been. I'm going on, but I encounter this all the time in terms of these parts, and how we, as you go back to how people are dismissive. They've just, I guess, they're going accustomed to. I just kind of do that, whatever. We just, and don't realize, no, that's not just something, that,
right.
That's it's, it is to say once maybe, but twice and three times all the time. No, that's a character. That's not just something, right. Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm gonna send you some. I've just got. There's just.
I'm just.
I'm just really. No, you're not. No, you're talking about. You're not rambling. You're talking about people. You're talking about what you've witnessed in multiplicity. You're talking about you see it all the time that people. We are not just one person. We're just not one.
Right. And the connection here is part of a good side of the work is turning down the volume. I'm not, anyway, I have to say it for the audience. I am no way criticizing that and through the work. Because that turn down the volume can be a matter of life and death and getting through another day. I get that. So I want to affirm that to the high heavens. Good stuff. But there's more. There's more. That's all. There's more, and there can be so much more. Getting back to what I was saying about the land of 6 and 7, but it takes a level of surrender and vulnerability, and hanging out in a place that can be very uncomfortable, can be very, very draining, very, and the truth of it is, we don't much like doing that work. Just to analogy, COVID-19, where we are. Part of the challenge for us, if we take the politics out of it, mask, social distancing, staying home, it's work. We don't like to work. It's hard. We don't like to do work other than work we get paid to do. But we're not people who like to do things that are hard, that challenge us, that work. So we don't want to do this. We did it for a while. We don't want to do that no more because we don't want to do work. I mean, that's kind of how we, as American, that's our culture. So that's why we're in this predicament, because we don't want it. Somebody got to, you got to be made to do it, and you do it, because it's what? It's work. Oh no, the bad word. You said work. That's work. Oh no. That 4-letter word. Work. And that's part of the way we don't want to do work. Whether it's steps, addressing this, because of we want somebody to tell us it's magically go away one day. No, it's going to be around until there's a vaccine, or until we do the work. Until a vaccine comes, the only way it's going to get better is what? Work.
Work.
Until there's a vaccine, it's work. Sorry, that's the only, that it's nothing magical either going to develop a vaccine, or you're going to do work. No, that's it. There's no magical poof. That's Disney. That's not. But that's how we've so attuned to thinking everything is like Disney. It's all. It's just going to magically. The dust and Tinkerbell or whatever, some pixie dust.
A society of magical thinking. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, but it comes back to work. We're looking for Tinkerbell and the pixie dust, and that's how it's going to be gone. That no. But again, I'm not talking politics. I'm dealing with it in terms of at the societal cultural level. The problem is we don't like work.
Mm-hmm.
And things that call for us to do work, that's problematic. That's our that's our challenge. I won't go problem. That's our challenge. So I use that as an analogy. So come back here. Same thing. Hanging out in the land of 6 and 7, being vulnerable, dealing with hard, ugly truths, of which the about who things that have happened and how these characters have been created, and there's a sense in which I mean, again, going through, we talk about amends, and what do we say? What's my part? I would say what your part is a character. When you say what's your part, that part is a character. Like who played that?
When you say that.
Right? That's a character. That's your part, right? That's why it's a character. Yeah.
Yes, we play in the role.
Yeah. Now, I interesting. We ended on this. I said this to you last. It's in my notes here. This is where we last. I was talking about. I went back and listened to the podcast, our last session, and I made these notes. At the macro level, manifested pain of addiction. We have at the macro level, which you're talking about, we have a manifested pain of addiction to the status quo. At the macro level, we have a manifested pain of addiction to the status quo. And we can run with that in terms of many things that are going on. But in terms of where we talk about where we are in terms of 6 and 7 in the land of 6 and 7, and I said this to you, manifested pain of our inner characters that's too big for the roles we ask it to play. I'd like for you to respond to what I'm this in terms of your understanding of internal family systems. Manifested pain of our inner characters that's too big for the roles we ask it to play. The constricted pain of being in a role that is too small. I got to get something. So we got to get in here on tape. So bear with me 1 minute. I did not find it there. Do you have I'm looking for it. Do you want to respond to what I read to you? Do you have anything you want to say about what I was just reading to you?
I wondered if you could read it to me again.
Okay. All right. Let me do this. Because I want to put this, I think I can find it.
But I may actually have it written down myself. Let's see.
So, okay. So here's what I wrote, what I had. Okay. I'll repeat again. A macro manifested pain of addiction to the status quo. Okay. Micro or personal level, manifested pain of our inner character that's too big for the roles we ask it to play. the constricted pain of being in a role that is too small, playing small. Pain is caused by trying to adjust through playing roles too small for our characters. Now, what that's what I had. It reminded me of something that was in a book that I was looking for. And here's the quote: "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us."
Marianne Williamson.
Exactly. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are all born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our light shine, we miraculously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So that's, and I see these characters in terms of that's what I said, and that came to me. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
in terms
good.
of us playing small. That's these parts, by not honoring these parts,
yeah,
by not letting these parts speak and come to life and give them breath,
yes,
and surrender and become vulnerable. We think somehow it takes alcohol sometimes to liberate them, so they can speak,
yes,
no, that's or other forms of some kind of deleterious something that we in order for. But the point of going back to what I was saying is that the pain is caused by constriction. I was going further. It's the constriction where that's the pain. Is that are you
Oh, I'm so with you.
And let me say, the pain and pathologizing things. That's part of the constriction.
Yes. Yes.
And again, I go back to seeing these things as defects. And that's why I say dwelling in the land of 6 and 7 calls for a kind of radical surrender and vulnerability, or again, they hang out to get but that's why I said two sides of the other side, they're together, and that's not and that requires work. Now, having said that, and kind of want to move back to hear back from you and then move to the other side. I want to say this. Societally speaking, the idea that we can pass legislation or throw money at problems and have them solved is more of that same pixie dust thinking, which denies the fact that in spite of what has been done to us, perpetrated upon us, in spite of what the unjustness of it, like I said about hearing the person speak about the fear, they're being afraid as a child, and the impact. Whatever has impacted us has in some way scarred or created something. Again, we talk parts. The point I'm making is there's work to be done. You don't
Mm,
get to magically just walk away from that.
mm,
And again, it's whether it was done to you or whatever. Whether you're the quote unquote
mm-hmm.
victim or the
Right.
villain.
You still have responsibility.
Well, not I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about there's still to get over it. There's work.
Mm.
Again, whether that's what I'm talking about. There's work. It just isn't magically. That's the point I'm making is there stuff doesn't just magically go away.
Yes.
It doesn't. That's
No.
the thinking that's problematic. Is that
Mm.
somehow it's magically you just can walk away from it,
Mm.
and know that goes back to about these things about parts. To me, that's why I liked about that is no the and I say these things particularly if it's over time that's not just a scar, that's a character. That's my hope. That's not just something that it's not it's beyond it's a character. It's here now. It's now it's a part of the equation. It's
Yes.
not it's not going anywhere. Now, I mean, now you can so when I talk about turning up the heat,
Mm.
I'm talking about doing some work around redirecting it, repurposing it.
Mm.
But the idea that quote unquote I'm going to get rid of it. Oh come
Uh-uh.
on!
Yeah, no, 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 no,
No!
no.
That ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's not happening. It ain't
Right.
going nowhere.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Agree. Yeah.
and
Hmm.
uh and I to go back to what I said, asking it to play small
Mm.
is a sense is what we are, what we when we try and minimize it by turning down by
Mm.
just turning down the volume is asking it to play small,
Mm-hmm.
and that causes constriction, and so then what the whole tension and is it wants to be liberated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the whole back, the tension and I would say
Mm.
going back out or fall,
Mm.
all that is because you try to suppress it, you try to
Mm-hmm.
constrict it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's constant tension that is it's is that if that's making sense? Is
It
that
does.
so? Before we transition back to our game plan going forward with Floyd Hunter, anything else that you like to share personally around this?
Let's see.
This is we can go back and forth. So don't it's not for once. It's not the last. If you're not ready, right? Nothing comes to mind.
I mean, what comes to my mind is what I saw in the the STEP study for my adult children of alcoholics / dysfunctional families, and instead of trying to get rid of the defects, quote defects, even calling them that wasn't encouraged, but it is the idea of integrating them, integrating those quote defects. So that's what came to mind was another way of using the steps. But I couldn't agree more with everything that you're saying. As in, scar, it is here, it's in it, and we can either use it for good, like repurpose, you said, or because pretending it's not there, pretending it can actually go away. Yes, that is like the Corona pixie dust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something else that I'm sorry. Let me let you. We finished? Were you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I wanna say this. I'm speaking. We were talking last time around a lot of what's going on with racial injustice, and um, when we last spoke, it was
Mm-hmm.
right in the heels of the death of George
Mm-hmm.
Floyd. Um, and and in terms of what need to happen societally in the wake of people coming to grips with institutional racism and other issues in our society. Um, what I want to say is that's relevant to what we're talking about here. For me, my my journey has been that of repurposing the shit that's happened to me in my life, um, and repurposing it in a way that there's a African proverb I may have shared this with you that has to do with um, my dedication around cast of characters. And the African proverb, I think I shared this before, says that until the lion learns to write, we will glorify the hunter. Part of my repurposing and my work around repurposing is not letting someone else be at the center of my story. An individual, an institution, whatever. It may get to be the villain, but it doesn't get to be at the center of my story. So I'm going to reframe this that you have you may have someone else might have play a part, but they don't get to be at the center of my story. Okay.
Oh yes.
Someone else doesn't get to be the hero of my story. This is my story. Okay, let's make your story. It's my story. So you don't get to be the hero of my story. But you ain't gonna be the hero. Okay. You can be the villain or whatever, but it's my story. I'm telling this story. Okay. And so that's how I and so with that being said, there's some profound implications to that around what we're talking about. As I see it, I heard a few last night. The president was speaking in South Dakota, and have you heard about that?
I heard about it. I did not
Rushmore. Okay,
watch it.
Okay, right. Mount Rushmore is on Native American land.
I didn't know that.
And there's it's a violation of treaty that the carvings and Mount Rushmore. Okay, anyway, but Native Americans were offered $100 million to settle the dispute around that land. It's now worth $1 billion. The amount that they were offered is now up. It's put in a trust, whatever. Now it's worth $1 billion. They refuse to accept it because for them, no amount of money replaces what's ancestral ground for them.
Yeah.
I personally feel the same way around subsequent reparations.
Mm-hmm.
For this reason, I can't be paid off at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at my experience and tell a different story, and I'm making what society is seen as a liability and transforming it into an asset. But that's me taking, and so that's taking the pathology out of it and saying this is my story. I'm
Mm.
gonna, I'm gonna tell this story. And to me, that's that, again, that's that. But that's part of what this work is about for me. Is creating a model and showing people how, on a micro and hopefully on a macro level, that what this is about can repurpose stories of and I just kind of wanted to put that out there. That's partly what we're up to here. Does that, if that makes sense to you?
Yes, that was great. Creating a model and showing people how on a micro and macro, a macro and micro level of repurposing stories.
Repurposing
Repurposing.
stories that can be impactful for communities and for society. That's what whole Rect America project is all about. At beyond, so I'm and that's kind of what I you're right.
Hmm.
But let's what does that look like? I go back to what I was saying to you about NASCAR,
Hmm. Hmm.
how they took the story of how it
Hmm.
started
Hmm.
and they have repurposed it. There's something that started from them, bootlegging
Hmm.
and doing whatever, and they found a way to repurpose it. Now it's NASCAR. It started, so it's something that started with it, that it has its roots there. Look what it is today.
Hmm.
That doesn't,
Hmm.
that's what I'm talking about doing. Now,
Yeah.
and that takes
Yeah.
work. That takes some work.
Yes.
But it doesn't. But you. And I would add. I was talking to Fred, just kind of lighter note as we move on. We got some other stuff to cover. So I don't know if you looked at what happened to with the black driver Bubba Wallace at NASCAR. Did you hear about that? They found a noose in his neck. I mean, noose
Yes.
in his stall, right?
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw in all the NASCAR drivers and Richard Petty, everybody came out. You saw, okay.
Yes.
So now, okay, so we had, and this is the last talk. So has its roots, uh, and and now it's become this big, auto racing thing. Okay, you got that from its roots to what it is today, right?
Yes.
Most recently, its patronage has been with people with the Confederate flags and
Ah.
all that. Okay, so now NASCAR says, that's over. We don't want that anymore. You can't bring that in here. We don't want that anymore. They have a black driver, and now NASCAR's like, and as a matter of fact, we're looking around. I think we kind of like want some black people to be a part of that, So now they're making another move. They're like,
Right.
We're gonna make another move. We're gonna, forget y'all in terms of that,
Yeah.
now, so whoever's in charge of marketing saying, look, it's time to make another move,
Yeah, man.
we want to,
Wow.
so these things,
Uh,
I look at it like, I see where, that's,
yeah.
that's, you feel me?
I do. I'm really glad you had me read these books. I wouldn't have understood. It really was an eye opener.
Okay, which one?
On the stories.
Okay, all right, yeah. So
Yeah, they're telling a good story.
Yeah, exactly. So they're about to, but I'm saying, but they're making another shift.
They're repurposing.
They're repurposing. Exactly. They're about to repurpose again.
So they got us a model. We could use their model.
Right,
You're
exactly.
saying you're not into some reparations.
That's what I'm saying. That they're again. I'm just saying that I go back to this. It comes back to all having work to do. And the idea that you can just throw money at something or you can just write a piece of legislation, that's the pixie dust.
Mm.
That's Tinkerbell and the pixie dust. We don't want to do work we all have work to do because we've all been through something. And nobody can move forward alone, and nobody's going to move forward until we all understand we have work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But doing no but we but like that's why I went to COVID-19. But it doesn't matter whether we never want to do work. This is about saving our lives, and we still don't want to do it. So it's kind of like it's
you're right. My God!
I mean, forget that. I mean, this is called, and we still don't want to do work.
What the hell is wrong? What is wrong? You're right. Oh my God!
We still don't want to do work.
Something's wrong.
Well, Flo, what's wrong is dwelling in the land of 6 and 7 is hard.
Okay.
It's work. It's dealing with ugly truths and hard facts and pain and and that's what's wrong. That's how I give let me it's not funny, but sure, it's just coming to me. I remember a Jewish brother. I was going to some of the sexual addiction meetings, and this guy was a Jewish brother. He had a issue with pornography, and he said in the meeting he went to his rabbi and told him he couldn't beat pornography. He couldn't overcome the grip that pornography had on him. And he said, the rabbi told him, what the hell is wrong with you? You come from a people who overcome the Holocaust, and you can't overcome some damn pornography? Are you out your damn mind? Get your shit together. What's wrong with you? Get your shit together.
Okay.
Now, you may seem you may it may seem hard.
I had multiple feelings towards
it. Yeah, exactly. but there's something about and what he's saying is, and that's my point here is, again, with throwing money or passing. Part of our problem is we don't know who we are. And when you don't know who you are, I don't care what you have. If you don't have an understanding about who you are, you can have all the resources. It's said about money. Money is a magnifier. Whatever you are without money, if you get money, you're gonna be more of that. whatever you it don't whatever you without it, whatever you were, when you get money, you're gonna be more of the same. You're just gonna be that. You're gonna be more of that. It's just it's a magnifier. That's all. It just magnifies whatever it is. Because the question is, who are you? That's who are we? That's and without doing, come back to work around. We all have been through. So again, we got work to do. Some of us want to do it. Some of us don't. So and I kind of I like it. Somebody said in the meeting, addiction to alcohol is being on an elevator that's going down. The question is, what floor do you want to get off on?
Addiction to alcohol
It's-
plus
it's-
being on an elevator
elevator going down.
going down.
The question is, what floor do you want to get off on?
Ooh, that's good.
Just doesn't matter what. So it's and I like it.
No.
Because but part of that, I don't literally see it that way, but you get the point of
Yeah.
part of that is about work. But look, let's kind of shift gears and talk about where we're, this has been wonderful. I'm sure our audience is got lots of, let's talk about some practical stuff.
Okay.
So related to the Area 3 and the come on, full screen. And I know you said you could see me. Related to Area 3 and Hunter and Dr. Flo and the project. Okay.
Yes.
So there's some things we need to prep, some housekeeping things we need to deal with. Okay. We need to can you pull up Rect America?
Okay.
Are you on Rect America?
Yes.
Okay. So click on characters.
Okay.
And just go to Lucy at the bottom. Okay. Right? You see her?
Yes.
So I need you to fill in the information on the side that says Lucy, and what do you want it to be there? It says 38. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
38 years. Okay. You got that description of the character, right?
Yes.
Okay. I need that.
Okay.
Then I need you to come down to my dream. And I need you to form a dream, what we call an in spite of dream. So in spite of something in your life, what is your dream? So so it needs to be a dream. We call it an in spite of dream. So you decide what it's in spite of, but in spite of something from the past, you still have. You see, and you can look at all. Okay, so I need those two things along with your. I have the picture. When I send it to Kate, if you can get me that, can you get me that by early in the week?
Yeah, I can get you that by Tuesday.
Okay, right. Okay. So I need the blurb, that the description of the character, whatever you want that to, for Dr. Flo, and I need to have your in spite of dream for the character. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
can do.
All right. So with what you're planning to do with internal family systems, so we talked about this. One of the things, once we put Dr. Flo up here, is I would hope that you would blog.
Yes. Yes.
And I would hope that, I'm just saying something to you that, okay. So I now am, I've disciplined myself that I arise early every morning, whatever that means, and I spend an hour writing every morning, and that's enabled me to do my blog. I just every morning I just spend an hour writing, and I just gotten disciplined to I get up and I just write. I don't, I'm just writing. I would encourage you to do that. There is a methodology for blogging a book that you just if you blog and we get in terms of we'll put the blog here, and if you would blog once a week and in terms of it you have eventually, after several weeks, you have a book. I mean, you can just take the blog and turn it, so you could be, that's a way to write a book. Is just start a blog and just continue to do the blog, get disciplined, and blog. Now, what I'm going to do with your working with me, if you look at the characters, so I have all these characters.
Uh-huh.
My goal, one of my goals, is to continue to blog in all these voices on a regular basis. So part of what I want us to accomplish with your working with me is to begin to honor these characters and their voice, and continue and to do that by blogging in the characters' voices, and talking about the experience of what we're doing. That's just, and so I'm encouraging you you do the same thing, because I'm gonna. But that's something I want to do. That's I want to be able to, as a result of working with you on this, to be able to get back to staying in those characters' voices long enough to blog authentically in each character's voice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's one of my goals for this work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and in that regard, so the whole idea, if I go back to coming out of that, going back to 5, okay. Number 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're in 3 and 4. So if we do 3, I look at it this way: if we do 3, when we do 3, and if through my blogging in the characters' voices and our podcasting, and if you would blog, and if we bring others into the equation as it's appropriate, I think that the material that we want for 4 will write itself. I mean, we will have that the content for that from just somebody from the blogs and from the podcast. The content will be there. It'll be, we can, so that's why I want to, in terms of doing that, that's the method to the madness of getting to 4, is through the podcasting and blogging. It will give us the content that would provide, for a webcomic series, in terms of doing that.
Yes.
Rather than trying to go at that series another way, this is the way to do that. It'll be there. So that's part. Yeah, that's part of that. So now, so let's stay in 3, because you were talking about that. If I take you back to, now I'm looking at the documents. If I take you to, so when you're with me when I said about the characters, I'm talking about all the characters that you see on Wrecked America.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all my characters, and except for Lucy, that's Kathleen's. Sorry. Okay. This guy, that's okay. Except for Lucy. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along. So that was the characters I'm referring to. Now, I was going to swing this document, swing that document. Come over here. I wanted to go to when I open a document, can you see the document too? Or just see me? I know you see me. Can you see what I'm looking?
I could only see what you're looking at if you share your screen.
Okay.
So you could go into your settings and.
It's all right. I've sent you. You have it. Okay. Right now. I'm opening up the document that talks about. Okay, no, over here. I'm talking about a document that says Wrecked America characters. And I say Wrecked America. If you look down, it says Wrecked America Walk Back Journey.
Yes. What's the number of that document so I can number it?
That document is number 1.
Okay.
Okay, but you got the document, right?
I got it. Yep.
Okay. All right. So when I talk about the walk back journey, what I'm looking for you to do is as you're taking internal family systems, and I want to, and this is we got to get, so I want first that you see the characters, you have a sense of who the characters are. I want to first honor, honor and get started by allowing you to use the model of internal family system to, if I could say, kind of out the characters that as it relates to that process. If that makes any sense, does that make sense? Let's just stay right there. Does that make sense what I just said?